Manchester United 2, Steaua Bucharest 0. United secure a top 3 finish in the Europa League. A big result for Tottenham as well, 3-0. 3 academy players scoring for them. They also make the top 8, which is massive for the 2 English sides, the 2 members of the top 6 in the Europa League. We're going to break it down. We want to get your opinions on this, but all I'm going to say now is what about that Mainoo Masterclass? Let's go! Welcome back to the Football Terrace, and absolutely the Mainoo number 10. We've been asking for it. Some of us have been demanding it. And what a performance we got from young Cobby in that number 10 role. In the first half, finding space, creating opportunities. He did miss a good opportunity, a good chance in that first half, but scoring, assisting in the second. His positional awareness, his ability to create space, shows his football intelligence. Very, very, very impressed from him. And Baz won 52 months they met. Look at that, 52 months as a member. 52. Most people haven't had relationships that are 52 months long. Mainoo's future is the number 10 role. I agree. And I think I want to see more of this now. Bilal says the same. Mainoo in the left 10. Let's give it a go. Jamie says Garnacho changed the game. I think Garnacho and Ahmad collectively did. I love the first half today. I'll say that now. Man United performance. I don't care what rivals have got to say. I don't care what negative people have got to say. The first half performance from Manchester United was very good. Dominated the game. Barely conceded a counter-attack opportunity. One chance they had from a free kick, which I still think was offside, but we'll never know because it didn't go in. Controlled the game. We dominated the spaces. What we lacked in the attack was speed and athleticism. That's all we were missing. As soon as Ahmad and Garnacho, I know Ahmad came on the right wing-back role, and I'm going to get onto wing-backs in a moment. There was more pace. As soon as we added the pace and some one-touch football and sped the play up, we looked brilliant. It was, without a doubt, the best performance so far with Ruben Amorim as our manager. That is just, for me, I wouldn't call it an opinion. I would call it a cast iron, straight fact. It was purely and simply the best performance so far. By the way, speaking of performances, get the like button smashed. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure the bell notification is turned on. Get that done. But I thought overall, it was the best performance so far by a Man United team under Ruben Amorim. And of course, I'm not talking to the rivals here. I'm talking to Man United fans. What you'll get as a response is, it's just Steaua Bucharest. People forget how poor we were at the beginning of the Europa League against teams who have finished much lower than them in this league table. It's also 2 clean sheets on the bounce. It is also 3 wins on the bounce for the first time all season. In fact, it's 1 defeat now in our last 7 games. My feet firmly entrenched, firmly stuck to the floor. Me and Sir Isaac Newton, we're like brothers right now. Gravity is holding me down because I'm not going to get carried away this early. No way, shape, or form. No way, Jose, we used to say when I was younger. Or as Del Boy would say, no way, Pedro. I think that was because he got it wrong. But anyway, so I'm not getting carried away. I'm just going to praise the team. We got better as the game went on. Performed well. Mainoo, as I mentioned, in that number 10 role, majestic tonight. I thought he did a fantastic job, both when he played on the left and the right-hand side. Bruno Fernandes in the middle, another stellar performance from him. Yes, he didn't get the GA, but if anybody ever says to you, Terry, tell me a game where Bruno stood out in an important game for Man United, show me. Away in Europe against Steaua Bucharest, watch him in that central midfield role. In the last few weeks, we've seen Bruno play a role that he does for Portugal. And a lot of Man United fans will say, why is he so good for Portugal? Why is he so good for Portugal, but he can't do it for Man United? Different position and system. Interestingly, a manager from Portugal brings in a sort of Portuguese-esque system puts Bruno in that double pivot, and he's starting to look very good. Doesn't mean we can't improve. Doesn't mean we shouldn't add more athleticism. But I'm just praising him for his performance today. Very, very good indeed. Defensively, we were sound. No worries there whatsoever again today. 2 games running where I've been very impressed with our defensive line. And that was without Maguire tonight, who's been very good in that number 3 role. And another good performance from Lisandro Martinez, who seems to be growing now and really finding himself as a Man United player again. But I want to talk about the fullback roles. Mainoo, star of the show, man of the match, love the kid. But I want to speak about the fullbacks. Amorim's system relies on his fullbacks being part of the defensive line when we're being attacked and an instrumental part of the attack when we are attacking, which means you've got to have tremendous athleticism and an engine for days. And I felt there's been so many times in the last 3 months where our fullbacks are kind of playing a half role. They're not always even getting back enough, but they're not getting forward enough either. They're in this in-between. And tonight, for the first time, we really saw the fullbacks get forward. Delo getting his goal. Where Delo was for that ball, just go back and watch game footage from our previous 10, 15 games when Ruben's been here. The rarity of our fullbacks being in that position is crazy, and that is where they're meant to be. Ruben doesn't want his 10s consistently drifting out wide. He wants them to go out there sometimes and create an underlap. But what he wants is fullbacks dominating those positions. And Delo did it very well on the left and the right tonight. And I've been very critical of Delo, but today was perfect. And not just because he got the goal, but it's because he was in the positions that Ruben wanted him to be in. And it created that threat. It stopped Steaua Bucharest from really trying to venture into our half. And it paid big, big dividends. It was fruitful tonight. So look, very, very impressed with United's performance. Happy with the progression of this team. Only 1 defeat in our last 7 games. And look, that includes drawing away at Anfield, knocking Arsenal out of the FA Cup. That includes comebacks in the Premier League, obviously against Southampton, that was. Beating Rangers, that last-minute goal. Coming for a tough away game at Fulham. It's not all been perfect, and I would never profess it to be. But overall, I was very, very impressed of my Manchester United tonight. We go through to the last 16. And when you look at we're going to look at the league table now. I'm going to put it up on the screen. I hope it comes up. There we go. We look at the league table here. We're top. I'm going to scroll up. We're in the top bit. Lazio top. Then Athletic Club. That's Atletico Bilbao, in case anyone wonders. Then United. Then Tottenham with a very important win tonight. Frankfurt, Olympique Lyon, Olympiacos, and Rangers. Congratulations to Rangers to making it into the top 8 as well. None of us have to play that last 16 game. And I think that's so key and so crucial with the amount of football that our clubs have to play. Who will United play in the next round? Well, because we're in 3rd place, we will play the team in 19th, 20th, 13th, or 14th. So if you scroll down, 13th and 14th is Real Sociedad or Galatasaray. 19 or 20 is AZ Alkmaar or Midtjylland. That is who we could end up playing in the last round of 16. The draw is tomorrow, so we will find out then. That is who Manchester United will play. Best team so far in the tournament, Lazio. Man United cannot play them into a semi-final if we indeed make it that far. But what will happen tomorrow is Man United will essentially find out the possible targets, and so will Tottenham between now into the semi-finals. In fact, now into the finals. There is no draws. After this, you kind of learn your route because of the seedings of the group stages. So, look, and I will say this about Man United. I'm not getting carried away, but we've won, since Ruben's been here, we've won 4 European games on the bounce. I did see a stat earlier. It's the first manager since Sir Alex Ferguson to win 4 European games. That's a lie. The first manager since Jose Mourinho to win 4 European games on the bounce. That's only the second time since Sir Alex Ferguson that a manager has won 4 European games on the bounce. And we were in real trouble. He's won 3. Man United have won 4. The 4 is the record. Of course, Ruud van Nistelrooy got one of those. So I don't want to take that away from him. So look, I'm really happy with it. I'm really, really happy with qualifying in 3rd position. This tournament's open. I'm not saying we will win it, but we certainly can win it. It's a route into the Champions League. It's another bit of silverware you can add towards your legacy as a football club. So very, very happy indeed. I want to say on Tottenham as well. I wasn't watching the Tottenham game too closely tonight, but they got another injury to Dragusin. I thought they really were poor in the first half, Tottenham. But I want to shout out their young players. Now, I don't know much about their youngsters, Scarlett and co. I don't know anything about them. But I want to say well done to them because they came onto the pitch and those kids wanted it. And in recent weeks, we've had a number of conversations on the Football Terrace where people have gone, my manager's tried everything he can. There's nothing more he can do. And the one thing I always turn to, and maybe this is my bias as a Man United fan, seeping through my pores, coming out of every orifice, coursing through my veins. Well, give some kids a go. It's the worst that can happen. You've got 3 points. You got like 1 point out of your last available 33 in the league. The kids can't do any worse than that, right? They can't. So well done to those kids tonight, the youth players who came out, who gave it their all, who scored those goals, who clinched that top 8 position for Spurs. Because if they'd have lost, if it had gone away from them, it would be, they wouldn't have been out, but it would have still been a bit of carnage for them, an extra couple of games, which you don't want. And those games, by the way, the playoff games actually happen in 2 weeks' time, about 2 weeks' time. So we're not even, isn't like when the Champions League ends at the beginning of December and you don't see it again until February. There's like a week or two off and we're back to it again. So Spurs get that little week off. It'll give them an opportunity to have a little bit of a break. But the youngsters tonight did brilliantly when they came on. So I wanted to congratulate them because they've just gone on. It's not even a dig at Big Ange, but they've just gone and proven that there are options at football clubs. Most of the top 6 Premier League teams spend an absolute fortune bringing in talent from the local areas around the country and globally to their academy. Give them more of a chance. I always remember, and I know it's ended sourly because of his behavior off the pitch, but when we were promoting Mason Greenwood to the Man United team and we got rid of Sanchez and we promoted him, a lot of rivals said, yeah, but what if he doesn't work? What's that, bruv? Alexis Sanchez has 5 good games. He's had 5 good games in 18 months. I don't see an academy player being worse than that. You're better off doing it. And again, for a club like Spurs or Man United where money matters, it's fucking cheaper. It's fucking cheaper. Give it a go. Give the kids a chance. Very, very important indeed to get that done. I'm going to go to some of your comments here. Amorim found his level. Palace is good. Oh, listen, IFL. I haven't seen you in a while, IFL. Amorim found his level. Listen, hang on. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Sorry, one sec. Sorry. Hello? Yeah. All right, cool. IFL, that was 2017 on the phone. They want their fucking joke back. They want their joke back. It's dead, bruv. I hope your girlfriend ain't in the room. She's leaving. Or she's texting another dude. Come on, my brother. Come on, do better. Thank you, Luke, for encouraging everybody to hit that like button. Please get that done, people. Please get that done. Congrats, United. Congrats, Steaua Bucharest. 11th with 20 million a year budget. Yeah, listen, they did brilliantly. And one thing I liked about tonight's game, growing up as a kid, Romanian football was always a little bit, was good. And Romanians devastated me I remember in the World Cup in 98, they beat us 2-1 and I was devastated. And a couple of Romanian lads went to my school and they battered us for days. And Romania has a rich history of football. And the Steaua Bucharest team in 1986, I believe, that won the Champions League. From a nationalistic point of view for them, it was a beautiful thing. Every player in the squad and every member of their coaching staff, every member of their backroom staff was Romanian. It was a very special thing for such a proud nation. And you could see the atmosphere coursing through today. Some of the stories, a lot of United players in the team. There were players that said as soon as they saw the draw, they were broke down in tears because their dream was to play Man United. And I thought it was overall a very respectful atmosphere amongst the fans. I thought both teams respected each other with a few naughty tackles, but you could see that. So, yeah, fair play to Steaua Bucharest. I'm not going to call them FCBC. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. I'm calling them Steaua Bucharest because that's their name as far as I'm concerned. Delo has been great since... De Ligt has been great since he signed. British media bias. It's interesting, the bill, because I've barring when Amorim bullied him, in the Europa League, and when he got twined up by Gakpo at Anfield, which was one moment, and I know he gave the handball away as well, but he's had a few moments. But I really agree with you, Nabil. De Ligt's been great. I think De Ligt for £40 million has been a brilliant signing. Maz for £15 million, sorry, 15 million euros. So what about £8 million has been an absolutely astounding signing. Ugarte's been very good. Euros for the future, but I've been impressed with all but one game from him so far. Xerxes, we've had those conversations. Xerxes has been the only one that's been massively underwhelming. But it's not like most of our attack hasn't been this year. So far, the signings under Ineos, I am very happy with. Said it before, say it again, and I stand by it, bruv. Simple as that. United is the only undefeated team in the Europa League. Yeah, look, Lazio. I didn't watch any of Lazio's game. I bet they rotated heavily tonight, so I wouldn't necessarily. Maybe they did. If they didn't, then fair enough, they lost. But I bet they rotated heavily. So I'm not going to take their defeat tonight as any type of indicator. But from a United perspective, we are unbeaten in the tournament. We may not be anybody's favourites, but we have a chance of winning this. So I agree with that completely. Selling Garnacho is simply criminal. Only if the replacement isn't better. That's how football always is to me. I'm never totally against selling someone as long as the replacement is better. And if the replacement is better, I don't really mind. This year, Jords is backstage. I see Jords just because they won, isn't it? I'm only joking, bro. Best control, comfortable performance under Ruben. Kobe in the 10 may continue, and you forget Terry, only team left unbeaten. If we perform like today, we have an excellent shot of winning. I agree. If we can control games like we did today and create like we did in that second half. In fairness, in the first half, Mainoo nearly scored a ridiculous goal. It was nearly a Gaza goal where he flipped it over the player's head. The defender got a touch on it. Mainoo then should have scored a really good cutback from Rasmus. But if we control games like today more regularly, of course, we've got a chance of winning it. You're spot on. Jerome says, congrats to both Man United and Spurs for a good win tonight. For Spurs, those players can finally have some rest and no midweek game for a while. Yeah, that's very, very true. Well, not for a while. You've got a midweek game next week. In the Carabao Cup. You get one midweek off, basically, because you're in that Carabao Cup semi-final. If you make the final, you'll have another midweek game because your Premier League game will get cancelled. But yeah, look, Spurs did well tonight. I've already said it, especially those kids that came on. They were very, very impressive indeed. And from an English point of view, unlike last year when loads of us went out early in competitions, I think we're almost certain to get a top 5 finish is going to get you in the Champions League. And if Spurs or Man United were to win the Europa League, could end up with 6 English teams in the Champions League next year, which for me as a content creator would be amazing. I'm not going to lie. Terry, are you confident, especially with no Champions League teams can drop down? I'm not confident. And the reason I'm not confident of winning it, we can win it, but I'm not confident of doing so. There's a distinction. Yes, we're 3 wins on the bounce for the first time this season, 2 clean sheets, 1 defeat in 7. But I'm going to evaluate the performances. Say we get to the last 16, and I'm painting a hypothetical here, and we're still unbeaten. We're performing more like tonight. We're starting to get more and more of these performances. My mindset will change. But as of right now, feet are firmly on the ground, taking each game as it goes. And I've said it a few weeks ago. I'm not going to panic at defeat. I'm not going to go over the top with a victory. So at the moment, I would probably put us in the top 3 or 4 favourites to win it. But I think Lazio 100% are ahead of us right now. They've been brilliant in this tournament so far. You can't write off Bilbao. And look, Spurs have beaten us twice this season already. And as much as I banter, you'll never beat us in a European game and everything else, they've beaten us twice this season so far. And they're in this tournament. And there's some other good teams in it as well. Time to bring the panel out now, people, to have their say tonight. Make sure if you haven't done it yet, you've hit like buttons and make sure you are subscribing. We've got a really good panel for you tonight. Really good for a Thursday evening. No disrespecting other nights, but it's a very good one. Who we got here? We got everyone's wearing 2 people. Hang on, KJ and Deezy got dressed together. KJ together tonight. What are they doing? We got man like Jords, my brothers here. Sunshine's in the house. Strikes Ball Steve as well. Evening, gents. Congratulations to all of us. Good night for all of us tonight.
The
rivals are fuming. The rivals are fuming. They definitely came here want to see Jords rip off his do-rag in frustration. Me, Deezy, and Neji all arguing about what's the problem with Man United. Terry turning red like a tomato. Oh, that's what they wanted to see today. No, not tonight. Not tonight.
I do go red quite a lot. I do go red quite a bit. It's my cheeks. I can't help it. I can't help it.
I've got the same problem, Terry, to be fair.
It's dropping out tomorrow. We played the final of the poker game on Monday that was recorded. It's coming out tomorrow. And I've seen some of the footage back today. And I'm like, none of the players saw my tail when I got nervous because this cheek, even when I get nervous, angry, or frustrated, this cheek goes red. So it's like a tell for me, and none of them picked up on it in the game. So there we go. But we'll find out what happened tomorrow night when that comes out. It was a brilliant, brilliant show. We just had to keep all the chairs away from Henry. That's all we had to do. But look, KJ, I'm going to come to you first. We were almost guaranteed a top 8 finish, but a win was important. But tonight felt like a really comfortable and solid display by Man United.
I think this is the first professional win we've had, not just on the Amorim, but in a long while, where we play well, we keep the ball, we don't make too many mistakes on and off the ball, and we secure the victory. And I know people were getting stressed at half time because another story of we've had the ball, done nothing with it, we haven't really been attacking. They'll get their chance, they'll score, and then we end up losing. I know that feeling was coming, but even though that feeling was there, a part of me was still like, you know what, with the way that it's been going, we've controlled this game in the best I've seen us control a game. We will be fine. And I was confident that we was going to score. And the way that we scored both our goals is what Amorim loves and Amorim wants to see. We scored cutbacks, baby. You know, we had a good patches of play, then we cut it back, and then someone's there in the right spot to tuck it away. And we should be seeing more of those goals on the Amorim, hopefully moving forward. Now, the biggest takeaway that I've got from this, besides the 3 points and going through, and also being undefeated in the Europa League, only team to do that in the league stage, I'll take that. All we need is PNP. Make Man United PNP again. Make us PNP again, because in that first half, the reason why we couldn't score as many goals as we wanted to is because whenever it broke in a counter-attacking position, whenever we had players 1v1, there's no speed. There's no urgency. There's no speed, because these players as a collective can't do that. You're not going to see Dalot take on one man, two man, and get into space and whip it in. You're definitely not seeing it from Lazio. Mainoo can here and there. No one on that pitch today screamed, I'm going to burst past the man and beat him and make something happen. So we had to play that way because we didn't have the players to do it. But when we brought the speed on in Garnacho and Ahmad, we saw a massive, massive difference to the chances we created, and the control we had on the game all came down to the fact we had guys with speed.
Hoyland's quick.
Hey, listen, we're not... Don't worry about him. We'll talk about him later. But we need more speed, especially in the wide areas. We need speed. We need PMP. Because there's even times where the ball was looped up in the air and they'll win it because we're just flimsy on the ball.
Yeah.
Like we just can't win it. So make Man United PMP again, and I guarantee we're scoring goals and we actually look better than we actually are right now. I'm happy with the win. And I just want to shout, before we move on to the next person, I just want to quickly shout out my flipping son, Kobe Mainoo. People were willing to sacrifice him to the Wolves because he had a couple of games in the 8 which were a bit iffy, which weren't good. I had Don in the group chats messaging me, well, you see what I said about Mainoo? You see what I said about Mainoo? This, that, and the third. And all we have said as Man United fans, like, we understand he's got his limitations, and in that midfield with Amorim system, is looking a bit techie. But let's just try him in the 10. I need to see him in the 10. Just to experiment, just to see how he does. And Lord behold, we see the best of him. But you know why? Because he's not being asked to run back and forth like it's the bleep test. He can just focus on doing what he does best in the attacking third, which is linking up play, getting into positions, and taking shots. He also scored an absolutely brilliant goal of a solo volley. And then he goes and finishes a goal, which I think everyone thought was coming because of the way he was playing today. Brilliant performance. I want to try him out more in that 10. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying he'll have perfect games for the rest of the season in that position. There will probably be games where you're thinking, okay, maybe that position is probably not working right. But at least let's give him a run of games in there to see what he can actually do against better teams. Because we've been starving of ball retention, of quick play, of link-up play in that forward position.
Yeah.
So let Mainoo do that.
I think as well, he's very good at it, and he loves those kind of round the corner, sort of out the edge of the boot flicks and the sort of back heels. Those tricks are what you do in the other half's final third. You know, a basic rule that's taught to every footballer being as a kid is try not to play too much football in your own half. Try not to do too much of that. You want to keep it simple, and that's his natural instinct to do that. He was great up there today, and it felt like a bit of an experiment because when I say it felt like an experiment, because in the second half, even after the subs, he put like Eriksen and Bruno. I think he realized Steaua Bucharest don't have much pace, so we can cope with those two as our central midfielders. And I'm so glad he kept Mainoo up there that whole time. And look, he got the assist, he got the goal. There was at the end as well, he played a wonderful 1-2 with Ahmad, which was just read very well by Bucharest that stopped it. But yeah, very, very happy with him. We'll go back to Man United in a minute. Jords, obviously Spurs, it's been a horrible few weeks really for you, and
months.
First half wasn't great. Season, your whole life. But tonight, listen, Mickey Moore, young Scarlett. I don't know the other lad who scored the goal that came on.
Ajayi, made his debut.
Your kids came on and they delivered for you tonight, mate.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, when I saw the links to like Matisse Tell, I was saying, yeah, Tottenham are quickly becoming one of the most expensive nurseries in London. But hey, it's looking like these kids are they really got something about them. They really got something about them. I was happy to see that they finally got some minutes, because I think one of the things with Ange is he's been very reluctant to use a lot of these. They've been on the bench for the past month or two. And he's been very reluctant to use them. But hey, he brought on Dane Scarlett, who's just come back from loan from the Championship and's had a tough time. He come on instantly and got a goal, lifted us up. Good to see Van de Ven back as well. Van de Ven just class of performance. Obviously, it's only 45 minutes, but the difference between him and what we have right now, and it's literally night and day. So every little thing that he was doing, you can just see the experience, the way that he sweeps up at the back, you know, that little bit of chillness you get when you know you've got Van de Ven there, they're breaking on the counter. You're just like, oh, it's all right, man. He's going to give them a couple yards. Don't even worry. He's Usain Bolt when it comes to it. Like, he's going to look at you and be like, yeah, go on, you're right. And then catch you straight back up. So, it was good to have him back. But yeah, more than anything, the fact that Mikey Moore got on the score sheet, but that goal from Ajayi, because it was literally his first bit of minutes he's had. He picked up the ball instantly and just wanted to run at players, ran at his man and done a great little 1-2 and finish. That's the type of things you want to see from academy kids, isn't it? That fearlessness. That's what most of them come into that game with, that fearlessness, and it sort of gets coached out of them. But it was good to see him come on. And like you said, Mikey Moore, you saw him I felt like when he saw those two kids coming, you know, he saw Scarlett come on and have his moment. Saw Jay, he's like, rah, he was itching. He was acting like a nit. He was like, oh, I need mine now. I ain't had a goal for a couple. I've been around for a couple months. I ain't had a goal. What's going on? And then literally, as soon as that happened, hey, 94th minute, literally last kick of the game, picked up the ball in the halfway line and just ran at them, and his class finished. So the performance wasn't pretty. It definitely wasn't pretty. Another injury. Dragusin went out. Looks like he's done something to his knee. Maybe
looked like an ACL. The twist.
Yeah, it did.
When
it
landed, it looked horrible.
Yeah, and if you watch those replays, if you look at the way, just look at the freeze frame, you look at the sort of the way the knee area looks. The way it's because something's gone and it's all moved. Yeah, I felt really bad for the lad.
Way it contracted as well at the time. You look at the muscle. It was horrible. So it felt. It's like with Spurs, it's so horrible that yet again another injury. We can't get away from it. And people keep saying it's the way you play. It's like some of these injuries are just happening so unluckily. And his one, look, he come on for 10 minutes and then got injured. Like it's just unfortunate.
Is it true that he's been playing with injury this entire time as well? Is that
He's played with injury through some games, but the injury's been like an ankle injury or something. It was very minor, and it wasn't nothing to do with his knee. So this is a completely different injury. And to be fair, the fact he's been playing with injury, that doesn't excuse some of his horrible performances.
No, it's not that. It's much more of this whole, like, we had it in the group chat with Matt saying, what's wrong with Spurs' medical department? I'm just like, the guy is, how's him doing an ACL got anything to do with the medical department? Like, what are they supposed to do? On flipping fix his knee on the pitch?
This is what happens in these circumstances, though. You'll probably find there is an element of truth with the hamstring injuries, but then what you get is the genuine injuries that happen out of nowhere, and it compounds the problem. But someone's knee snapping, and 9 times out of 10, they always come from innocuous moments, a little twist, a little move.
And contact.
Yeah, very rarely do people. I can't remember the last time I saw someone's cruciate go with contact. Probably Van Dijk, maybe Van Dijk. The last one I remember watching, for at the top. But yeah, look, I mean, what squad wise now? You got Mickey Van der Ven back. Is it now? Do you think it's time now to start giving some of these kids proper minutes and proper chances? Don't overplay them, but give them an opportunity rather than putting square pegs in round holes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got so many players, especially in that front line where you've got like a Mikey Moore, you've got a Jay, you've got exciting players who actually want to run at their man. They play the way Ange wants to play. They do the things Ange wants his wingers to do. But then you want to use like a Timo Werner, or you want to use a Brennan Johnson, who are the absolute complete opposite of that. They're anti-footballers, I call them. So
Richarlison as well.
To be fair, Richarlison in the middle, he can cause a problem up top. He's just one of those chaotic strikers that you never know what to expect from him. And I think defenders don't know what to expect of him. So it's one of those ones where he can create problems. But
is it worse than Nunez?
Yeah, it's very similar to Nunez. But no, back to it. I do think that we do. It gives Ange the opportunity to try look at these players and try to start using them. Do I think he's gonna use this game and be like, I don't think he will. I think he's still going to be very reluctant to use a lot of those players. And to be fair, we do have senior players coming back. So probably in the Brentford and Liverpool game, you're going to see a few more senior players coming into the fold. But yeah, no, still, to be fair, when I look at this Brentford game, although we won this one, I'm not confident going away to Brentford. Like, I'm not confident whatsoever.
I hear you on that, but look, I look at it from this perspective. Just enjoy tonight, because sometimes as football fans, you can start focusing on the next game too soon, and you should enjoy the win. Breaking news, by the way, it looks like there's going to be an 85 million bid incoming from Saudi for Matoma.
85 mil.
You know what's really funny, right? Yesterday I was really gutted to see John Duran leave and go to Saudi, and I listened to what Akafenwa said about securing your legacy as a father and as a man and earning money. And I agree. There is another positive side to certain players leaving and going to Saudi, like Matoma. It weakens fucking them bastards Brighton. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to look at it that way. Like, in fairness, if my club can't get them, it's better they go Saudi than they go to a rival or stay where they are.
But then we're giving a team with such good recruitment 85 million euros.
About to say, man, Brighton are one of the best teams.
It's not great.
Best run clubs, I think. Brighton. Past 9 years, if you look at their trajectory.
I was on a stream earlier, and someone was saying it like Brighton must have
that money
dirt on every single club in world football, because they fleeced absolutely like in the summer. You're gonna look, Belaber's gonna be going for 80, 90, 100 mil, and then they're gonna be looking at, like, they're just trying to fleece everyone for these players. And
do you know what they do as well, though? It's really interesting at Brighton. So look, United are looking at this young lad Patrick Dorgu. None of us know too much about him whatsoever, but I was in a meeting today, which will all be revealed soon. I'm so excited. And we were talking about it, and they were simply saying that when Man United signed some 20-year-old kid who's raw and inexperienced, and there's almost like a judgment on his head already and pressure. If Brighton was signing him, none of us would care. He'd be allowed to play his football. And most Brighton players, until we as sort of members of the top six or whatnot, you wouldn't even recognize half of them in the street. No one would know. If Patrick Dorgu bumped into you tomorrow, you'd all know who he is because he's joining Man United. You go, oh, it's you. If he were joining Brighton, you could sit next to him for an hour on a train and you wouldn't know who it was. And that's not a dig at the player or Brighton. That's the one thing. And that's why I've been saying to Man United fans, we've got to learn to keep our mouths a little more quiet and control the narrative better and not allow the media and rivals to apply too much pressure to the players that we're signing. And all clubs do that. Sometimes I think we hype it up so much that we actually cause a problem for ourselves. Just tone it down. And I said the other day, there's a cool thing youngsters do now to be cool at school. call at university, and that's being off the grid. No social media presence. If you want to speak to me, there's my number. Some of them even go even further, and they just have a landline number, and it's seen as sexy and cool because they're different.
Landline.
Bruv, it's like a retro thing.
I'm not buying that.
Call it. No, my cousins, my young cousins are telling me about this, and they're like, yeah, it works a treat. Like you looked at like this rogue, like you're James Dean or something. And I'm like, this is mad, right? You kids are crazy. But I want Man United fans to do a little bit of that rather than, whoa, look who we're signing, or oh, I can't believe we're signing that shit. Why don't we just keep stum, keep it silent, and see, like, do something different.
And then when you see Saudi splash out 85 mil on Matoma, just be like, yo, Rashford and Casemiro are amazing, bro. Like, you guys need to come over here.
Hold it down. Exactly. It's what you got to do. Sunshine, United, though, tonight, great win. Mainoo in the 10, brilliant. Do you think this was United's best performance so far under Ruben?
Performance-wise, I think it's up there. I wouldn't say it's his best performance. I think it's our most comfortable performance, but I don't always use comfortable as a state to say best, just for simply because of the opposition that we faced. But hats off to them lot. Even their team, Terry, let's be honest. They were taking wild shots right at the end, 70th minute, 80th minute, where normally, really and truly, you feed them balls and you give yourself a chance, like Rangers, give yourself a chance to go 1 goal behind with 5 minutes to go. So the team just didn't have the cojones, shall we say, to go and score past United today. So I ain't going to get too gassed, but like I said, it was a comfortable performance, and regardless of the team, the fundamentals of the pressing was consistent throughout the whole game for me. You mentioned Kobbie Mainoo, just unreal, man, absolutely unreal. I mean, in the 10, I think it's going to work. Would it be a Bruno replacement short term? Yes. Does that mean Bruno comes out the team? I don't think he does. I think he goes back into midfield because, again, we saw tonight from Bruno, even though it was an easier team, Bruno was being able to unlock those passes and start most of the movements, which you feed into a Kobbie Mainoo in the 10. He's technically a better footballer than Bruno Fernandes anyway, on the eye and also with the touch and everything else in those tight spots. So having Kobbie Mainoo in attracts players around you because you want to stay tight to him, which then frees up room for Bruno. And you saw in the edge of the area, second half, when we had those speeds that's coming on with Ahmad and Garnacho, that Bruno and Eriksen were getting a little bit more time around the area. So great performance for the neutral, I guess, from a football perspective. And from a Man United perspective, comfortable performance moving into Palace. And obviously, we've got Ruud van Nistelrooy's Leicester, haven't we, on the weekend as well. So I'm happy, man. I am happy with the result.
How did I was gonna ask about 2 players, Bayindir. How did, because I didn't watch your game really too much. How did Bayindir and Eriksen play? Because those are
Bayindir didn't have much to do.
Eriksen was fine.
No, wait.
Here he goes.
Bayindir had nothing much to do, but yet still found a way to almost parry the ball into his flipping net.
Yeah, that save. They nearly went in. Oh my god.
Yeah, but you have to give him credit. The power of that shot, he had to get his hand, because again, the way that's hit him, it's come directly. He's put his hands in the right place. But when you I'm gonna say when you fist something, then when you fist the ball, that's mad. Yeah, that's mad. When you create that punching motion, it can go any way, which way. It would have been just
I will give you credit for
you'll remember Germany.
Yeah. I'll definitely give him credit for the save. I think it was from a corner. In the second half, that was reactive save. He did really well there. He was fine. It's not my cup of tea. Eriksen, I wish we just had him. I wish we had him when he was younger,
10 years earlier.
Yeah. It's just because
the Tottenham version of Eriksen was one of the best players in the league.
Give us that Tottenham Eriksen.
He looked like that every time we played bad teams.
Bro, this guy's got half a heart, and you want the same Tottenham Eriksen like this?
No. I wish we had him, man. I wish we had the Eriksen because he on the ball, he's brilliant.
Yeah, when he was healthy at Tottenham, I loved him. So I thought he was great. He was one of my favorite midfielders. And every time we play a poor team or a poor side, he looks like that because he gets the time on the ball.
We need that, though, boys. Let's be honest. We need that Eriksen against these types of teams because we don't want to burn out our certain players. And even it was Collier started tonight as well. Do you know what I mean? You need those. I'm going to say those John O'Shea's of this era to fill those gaps because you do need to rest these players. They are going through a crazy change right now. They are putting in mad shifts on the training ground, or most players are, shall we say, before we mention Rashford's name. It's one of those at the moment, and if Eriksen can come on and finish his career at United, clearly he's going to stay till the summer and then he's gone. But if he can keep having games like this against teams like this for the short term, even if he plays against Leicester, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah,
if he can keep doing this, it's going to help Man United 100%.
He typically, though, I know he went deeper when we found out they didn't have when Stour didn't have much legs, but he just looks better in that 10, which I always felt was his position. We got away with it for a little while when we played kind of low block and he would be knocking the balls into the channels when we had pace. He just can't play in the Premier League as a central midfielder. I think if you're going to play him, you play him in that 10 role.
Yeah.
Bruno actually looks more like Portugal's Bruno in this system more recently, which I really, really like. So yeah, if we're going to play Eriksen for the rest of the season, let's play him in a 10 role, but you have to have legs around him because that's the only thing we missed tonight when we had no legs. He kind of had the ball, but I wouldn't even blame him. Nobody was making runs off him because no one's got the legs, and it was we were a little bit too static. But yeah, they played quite well. Deezy, what did you make of United tonight?
I think one thing that, and it's funny because we was having a heated discussion in the group chat this week about Ruben Amorim. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's how you check if a cow's pregnant. That's all I'm checking. That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
I watched it on
the farm, innit?
I watched it on Pet Rescue. It's a show in England called Pet Rescue. I watched it on there.
Right. Okay, but yeah, what's it called? We were having a bit of an argument about Ruben Amorim. There are some guys that are Ruben Amorim out already.
Which to me is just one.
In our group chat, it's one.
It's just one.
There are some.
But anyways, what I'm saying is, I feel like he's got a lot right in that. A lot of the things that us as fans have been asking for, like it might take him a couple more weeks, or he might give people a few extra chances than we might give him, but he eventually gets there. We're saying, let's see Mainoo in the 10. You're seeing him. We were saying
Bruno in midfield.
Exactly. We're saying play Bruno deeper. We're seeing it. We were screaming out for Ahmad. Now we're seeing it. Højlund needs to get dropped. We saw Xerxes have a run, and then he's switching back and forth. Onana howler after howler. How often does he need to make mistakes for him to try by in there? At least he's trying him.
Collier.
What is it? Even Collier, exactly. It's another one. So to me, it's like I see what he's trying to do, and also I don't know if you guys have noticed, we don't have very many injuries anymore. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that?
Yeah, and that's all to do with the manager, to be honest with you. That is a lot to do with the manager. And it's tonight he was talking about Garnacho, and I think in the pre-game interview they said, "Oh, why is Garnacho on the bench?" Because I think they were trying to see whether he's leaving, and he just said he's almost that he's in the red zone in terms of starts, and we need to be mindful of the minutes that he gets. And touching wood, we have had a lot less injuries. We haven't been running players into the ground. I actually love the fact that it's just Mainoo's first start in the tournament all year. He was injured earlier on in the season when LVG was here. I don't think Mainoo's been on the bench. I don't think he's been on the bench because he ain't good enough for performance. I think he's been on the bench because I think Ruben recognizes he's 18 years old. You don't have to, and you shouldn't 9 times out of 10 be playing an 18-year-old 50 games a season, starting every minute, playing 90 minutes and running them into the ground. They need to be used for development. I know you're legally a man at 18, but you've got to look after these boys. They're young. Their bodies need nurturing, and I kind of love that from him. Some breaking news. I'm sorry to break up the match reaction. It's just been revealed by Plattenberg. He has just said here that Tell is delaying his potential move to Tottenham as his preference is to move to Manchester United. A lot of people are posting that in the comment section there. And he's saying that it's more likely that he joins Man United on a loan. I mean, that's only a report.
I mean, if you had to pick teams,
because he came out and said he didn't want a loan, and now he's like Tottenham.
You know what's funny though? It's funny because a lot of fans are sitting here like lapping it up. But Matisse Tell's not the needle mover that either of us need. So and now fans are going to do this and paint the picture that like, oh, we beat you to Matisse Tell. I'll be like, bro, you can have him. He's a good decent player.
We didn't beat you, bro.
I've all the players.
He just doesn't want to go Spurs, man.
I've all the players in the transfer window to have a saga and a race for him at the end. Matisse Tell was not on.
No, that's the point. That's
no
it.
one's
Like,
box. I'll admit that.
No, but
and this is the thing, though. Like, even when I look at this deal, Spurs are only in for him because it's Bayern Munich. Spurs are looking to do a wheeling deal. You know, I heard the price that's supposedly 60 million euros. It's only because 40 million euro that they asked from Harry Kane is getting put aside. Like, Spurs are willing to waiver that as part of the deal. So that's the only reason why Spurs are apparently looking to put this together.
I'm pretty sure your energy was different at the start of the stream when you're talking about Tell. I'm sure.
No, I didn't. I said that. I even come on. I was on Saeed's earlier. I said, look, he's a good player. I promise him, but I'd much rather like a Whistler or something. Like even someone that's proven quality in the Premier League.
Do you know what? I agree with you, Jords. I look at Tell in this way.
Decent.
I think that Tell is a player that I like the idea of us getting him. But the same as Patrick Dorgu, this is not a needle mover or a ceiling raiser. And we should every now and then you get a kid like a Rooney, a Messi, and Mbappe who they're ready at 18. The vast majority should never be seen as saviors, should never be seen as the next. Maybe it should be seen as the next best thing, but not the thing that's going to save your club and push you to the next level. You know, like Arsenal have gone and put in a 45, 60 million pound bid for Watkins, 29 years old. You get that. If they go and sign, if they go, I can't get him now, let's go and get Šeško. Say they go and buy Šeško. They should still go and try and buy Watkins in the summer. You shouldn't be going 21-year-old. You're going to lead the line for Arsenal in the Premier League. It's a crazy notion. And I think what stopped a lot of fans thinking this way is FIFA. Because when you play computer games, you buy a young player that's got good fitness and good pace and they're fine. Because it's a fucking computer game. In real life, look, Rooney was at Man United killing it at 18, 19. Look who he had around him. Look who Messi at 18, 19, 20, 21 had a wrapped around him. If you're going to bring those players, if Arsenal were perfect, if Man United were perfect, and we needed a bit more pace and flair up front, and we went, let's throw an 18-year-old, 19-year-old Tell into the mix, it could work. It could work for City. It can't work for Man United or Tottenham. Our teams are not complete enough. So anyone who thinks this is the savior, please go give your heads a big wobble. Canadian Cam.
What's up?
I was thinking about you earlier, actually, today.
Ooh. Okay. Why?
I got out the shower and
Hold up.
Wait a minute.
What's
going on over here?
Eric, Ambush Monday was 3 days ago.
Put the drink down.
No, I was in my wardrobe. I've got like a nice big walk-in wardrobe, and I was looking for. I just wanted a nice, comfortable top to wear. You know, in the moods. And I came across some of my hockey jerseys that I bought when I was in Canada, and I the Sens, and then I saw a Maple Leafs one, and I thought Canadian Cam. So I was like, yeah. So I was dry and dressed, by the way. I was playing. I'm playing.
Dry and dressed.
Glad you specified. The dry was the important part, really.
What's up?
Yeah, I was wet and had no clothes on. Sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? And I was thinking about you, Cam. What are you here to say about United tonight?
It was interesting. I think we were boring. It was a good boring. You know, we haven't been boring in a long time. Like we were boring. Like there was a point where I'm like, we're just playing with these guys. We're just kicking the ball around. At one point we had like 96% like passing accuracy. Lissandro hadn't missed a pass yet. Like it was just real easy, which we haven't seen in a long time. I think the Liverpool game's still our best performance. I don't think this was our best performance. I still look back on that Liverpool game and was like, oh wow, okay. we playing football here. But today we were comfortable, and I love that about it, because it's like we haven't really had a game where I sit there I wasn't nervous. At no point was I like, we need to score these goals. I mean, I was upset when Bruno missed because I had a Bruno goal scoring ticket. You guys know I like to gamble. And I missed that. So I was a little bit upset about that. But outside of it, I think what we saw from the play, like, and I'll start with Bruno, because Bruno, for me, playing deeper, everybody has always said we can't have him play deeper there. We can't have a player who doesn't take care of the ball, who doesn't control the game, play in that position. And there's just a few moments. One mainly, Delo got the ball and he was, in our half, and it looked like he was ready to make a pass that he shouldn't. And Bruno looked at him and just said, just don't. He just said, don't. Like, get me the ball, don't. And then Bruno made the right pass. And it was like, this is the things that people need to understand is Bruno has always done what he's been asked. Like, coaches have not been telling Bruno not to do the Hollywood. They're like, make things happen for us because you're the only one who can. Like, there's nobody else. Like Mo always says, like, Bruno needs somebody to keep him in check. It's also good to have a manager who keeps him in check. Like, clearly the manager has told him, I don't need you to go out there and be superstar Bruno every single night. You do not need to do the things that because like, every game we've been seeing over, like, progressively, we've seen far and few between those grenade balls that people talk about, the Hollywood pass. He is making great passes, line cutting. He's doing all of it, but he's not doing it every single time. He's not looking up and going, oh shit, he's looking up and he's tapping. So, you know what I mean? When he taps it, we're talking about FIFA, he just taps it, brings it down, then makes the right pass. So I'm really impressed with that because that shows that, you know, all the skills we see for Portugal, all the skills we know we have can be transformed with this manager. And we don't need to go look for a new captain or a new player. Everybody who keeps saying, if Bruno can turn into a player that's controlled, then why do we need to go find? We have other problems. So I want those other problems fixed before I fix Bruno. And then when you think about the pace and power that we need around him, like when I look at Eriksen, I thought Eriksen was class. I love as soon as Eriksen moved in the midfield, it was just like, he's just killing it. He's tearing these guys apart. And we don't have that player either still because we don't have a young Eriksen. And I think about the wingback positions, and you just saw the difference when he made the changes at half. That was the thing. Malacia got to go. Like, I cannot for the life of me watch that man. Pick your hair, do something. Like, it's weighing him down. Like, the guy, like, I'm serious. Like, I'm just so upset with this dude right now that everything about him.
I don't endorse that message. That's purely Cam.
Yeah, no, it's coming from a black man. I'm just saying, it's everything about him right now is pissing me off.
Pick his hair,
the way he runs, everything about Malacia right now is driving me nuts, and I just don't like him in our team anymore. And he's one of the problems. Deezy always says it. Eric Ten Hag said it back a decade. That's one of the problems. Like, we brought this kid in thinking he was going to be this young. It's probably the same way we're looking at Drogu being like, okay, cool. Like, there's potential here. I don't know what anybody saw in Malacia personally. So that's like not.
I'll give him that injury was mad. I'll give him that.
I still don't know what happened about that. That's what's bad.
I still don't know what happened. But
he had his injury, and then said, "This is where he's stupid. He didn't go with the club's doctors. He went with his own. Then, the people who went with botched surgery, and he got took out for longer.
Yeah. So for me, like, I look at that player, and I'm just like, you got to go. Delo, cool goal. Still not sure. There's just, I like looking at the team and being like, I know what we need. I know what we need. I can finally see it. I can understand it. It's there. So just go and make the buys we need. Like this, I've never seen Tal play personally. I've never seen him play. But if you're telling me he's a forward who has an eye for goal a little bit, that's what we desperately need. Like, that's what we need. We got no goal scorers when it comes to
for movement and pace, man. KJ said it 40 minutes ago. Movement and pace. And it sounds basic, but football has evolved in the last 4 or 5 years again. And I feel like when we were kids, who's my age here? And I'm going to say the guys that grew up in England, because I don't think soccer was like the main sport where you guys grew up. But when you were younger, the big, quick kids, they very rarely got taught to use their feet. It was like running behind, use your pace, use your power. And if you were small and intricate, you were taught, they did more ball work with you when you were at academies, when you went to training. Now the bigger lads, of the youngsters coming through, now they were trained to use their feet as well. So you've now got people that are 6'2", absolute beasts physically, but they're also technically good. So the smaller lads that are now like 5'8", slight, they're struggling because the bigger lads are now almost as good as them technically. And I think Man United, we just bought too many players that are under 6 foot, under 11 stone, and don't have any pace, and not even good technically either. Some of them not even good technically. No, I agree. So yeah, we certainly have to improve on that, because as soon as we brought on Garnacho and Ahmad, that brought us more pace and brought us more technique into the one touch, we were a different team. Now, can you imagine this Man United team in 2 or 3 transfer windows time if you take 60% of today's team and improve the physicality, the speed, the power, and technique in this system? It could be a thing of beauty. It really, really could. It's there.
On the system, I've heard Man United fans say, I don't like it because we're Man United. I'm so used to high-flying wingers and speed and just quickness. But I'm like, we have wingers. Like, we have wingers. They're just the wing backs. But that's the problem because we haven't got guys who are good at 1v1, being a wing back, 1v1 attacking. It makes it seem like, oh, we're changing as Man United. No, but if you put speedy wing backs who can go 1v1 and also can defend with speedy number 10s, we will look like the old Man United again.
I'm also tired of people talking about the 90s United like it was like yesterday too. I'm a bit tired of that. Like I'm so used to what are you used to? We're used to fucking watching Jesse Lingard and shit like that. We're not used to Ryan Giggs and these men.
This is what's funny about football. Football changes. So Matt Busby changed football in England forever. The way we played football in the 50s, no one had ever seen before. So therefore, the idea of, well, we play this way as United and we should never evolve is crazy because he evolved us. And Fergie helped to evolve us, and then he changed himself. The man went from a 4-4-2 to a 4-3-3, and most British managers didn't do that. So the thing with it is that you have to evolve with the times, and I think Man United haven't done that. Before I do the super chat, Strasbourg Steve, I know you're here. Obviously, one of your 672 teams played tonight.
One, he has 2 shirts behind him of 2 teams that played tonight already.
Yeah, Rangers.
Oh, you got Rangers as well.
You know why I respect Steve? Because most people that have more than one club don't really watch him. But this man watches every team like deeply, and that's why I got a lot of love for you, bro. Obviously, you had a lot of injuries and a lot of rotation tonight. Do you still see Lazio as the favourites for this competition from this point?
It depends how seriously we take it, because in Serie A, we're still in that top 4 kind of discussion. And while we have these injuries, like with Guendouzi's out right now, we're looking to buy a midfielder as well. We need midfielders. That's our big thing right now. Because forwards, we're all right. We've got good depth there, albeit they're a bit injured as well. But yeah, I think we're amongst the top 3 favorites. My favorite is Athletic Club. That's who I still have it because they have the depth, and also their academy is very deep because obviously it's where they get all of their players from the Basque region. So I'd probably say we're top 3. I still like Eintracht Frankfurt for the most part, even though they lost to those bums Roma tonight. I still do like them as well, probably in the top 3-ish. But I am impressed. I am impressed that Man United and Spurs both got top 8. Because I don't think I predicted maybe one of you guys to get in there.
What?
But your schedule, I guess I overestimated maybe your opponents, possibly. Right? I thought, maybe you slip up here.
But in fairness to Steve, I respect Steve's opinion more than I do most people, because I don't even mean this in a horrible way. The man has about 30 screens in his room, and he legitimately over the weekend watches most teams from most leagues. So, a lot of people just like, I'm going to kind of parrot what I heard some guy on TalkSport say. This man actually watches European football like no one I've ever seen before in my life. You know how those people on Twitter pretend they watch everything?
Yes.
Steve does.
Wait, so what's the team, though? What's his team? What's your team?
Well, all right, if it's English, then it's Newcastle. It's Newcastle. Yeah. You see me on Newcastle.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Newcastle, Lazio, Benfica, Bayern Munich. Who's your Spanish team?
Don't have one.
Don't have one. Okay.
I don't have a connection with one.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, Steve was the first man to mention Bodo Glimt, and ever since then, I started to see what they were doing. I was like, yo, when we beat them, that's why I was happy. Because I'm like, Bodo Glimt aren't bombs. Like, they're a good football team.
And also, Steve called out some players in Bodo Glimt and said they do this, this, and this. And I was like, I respect it. He's called into the show. Great. And then I was watching the Man United press conference, and Amorim's like, we've got to watch out for these players because they go blah, 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 blah. And I was like, that's exactly what Steve said. Shit. Steve actually watches it. It's crazy. This here from Joshua Jack says, KJ, mention it need to talk about Rasmus. Last year, we got every excuse for no service to the Scottish king of Napoli, stealing his goals. This year, he spent more time on the ground getting punked.
McTominay is balling in Serie A, though.
So,
Conte is just a magician like that, though. He's genuinely one of the best coaches I've seen.
Yeah, Conte loves a quote unquote reject from the Premier League, and he can win with them. But in terms of Rasmus, listen, he's drowning. I think we've said it before. He is suffering right now. And today was one of those games again where you're hoping for something to come for him. And he had spurts, he had moments where, like, obviously put that cross in for Mainoo. He should have done better with a chance towards the end of the game, and he hit the side netting. So he had moments where he looked decent, but overall, my man let flipping Eric Bailly from Wish dominate him.
Yeah,
in
He-
like
yeah,
all
he
day,
looks
every
lost.
day.
He
It was
looks lost.
crazy.
He looks lost right now, Rasmus. If I'm being honest with you, he really does. It's
You
just,
should loan him. You should loan him.
I've got,
If I'm
You're
Man
right.
United, the
I've
play
got
is
a blind for him, to be fair. I can't lie.
Huh?
I've got a blind for him because I said before we bought him, and again, this goes back to our board, and I don't know if you remember when I said it back then, but I said this fan base are going to turn on Rasmus the moment he starts struggling. And the reason he's going to start struggling is because he should have been our number 2 striker, not our number 1. We should have spent extra 20, 30 million, got Harry Kane at the time. At more time right now, Rasmus should be seeing no more than 15, 20 minutes off the bench. And then he comes in and as an impact. We're relying on this kid. And the reason we're relying on this kid is because our board bought him in. And the price that the board paid for him, not Ten Hag, the price that the board paid for him at that time was too much. So when you come for stupid money, that price tag gets put over your head and then you're evaluated on your performance. And I've been saying this for the longest. Manchester United is more than just the manager. There are people who we have to hold accountable for certain decisions. I've got no problem with any person, and I'll keep saying this, getting onto a manager for picking a certain player. But when certain money is being spent and it's not on the manager, and then that's also being used to target the player to criticize him and the manager, I can't have that personally. Because that means there's certain people within our club who are getting away with bullshit, excuse the language, but they're getting away with it, and they keep getting away with it, spending stupid money on players that aren't worth that. If we bought him for 40 million, it would be okay.
Did you see what Ruben Amorim said today?
Go for it,
they're asking what they're going to do in January, and I'm paraphrasing ever so slightly, but he said, we want to buy, but we do not want to overspend, and we do not want to make the mistakes that we've been making in the past. And it's so key that's why when people say what we're doing now is the same as before, I do laugh, because if you can't see the distinctions, and people go, but you're going to still go on Nacho again. Maybe, just maybe, between Ruben Amorim, everybody that's involved, I don't know what I just did there.
Oh, sorry, that was me by accident. I was trying to
you press something?
Yeah,
Maybe they don't think he's good enough in the long term. Just to update though, this has just come out now. Man United plan to make an offer for Tell, even without any sales of another attacker. United want to bring Tell on a loan until the end of the season with an option to buy, is what's being reported. And for me, that's sensible. But still in the summer, we've got to go out and get players like the likes of Eucharist, players that are 26, 27, 28, and add to the squad. Ray here says it is, excuse me, he said that it is starting to feel a little better for us. United fans, small steps, 3 wins in a row. Let's get a win on Sunday. Agree. Listen, we could beat Palace at home and then we could beat Leicester in the FA Cup. It could be 5 wins on the bounce. But Ray, I'm spouting the same message. When we lost to Brighton, when we lost to Spurs, when we lost these games, I criticised bits, but my feet were on the ground. We're winning these games. My feet are on the ground. My fear for Man United partly is the fans either overreacting to a defeat or panicking, or not panicking, overreacting and panicking to a defeat, or going crazy over a win. 3 to 4 years it will take to fix us from where we are. We have to learn that. We have to understand it. We have to accept it, because it's standard at this point. This here said from really says that says really normally. I don't know why that was so hard for me to read. Anyway, only the Spanish teams left in the comp truly worry me. Other than that, we have the squad to win it. As a United fan, I agree. Our away record in Spain is horrendous. So Spanish teams always worry me. I think we have something
I'm
like
far
4
more
wins.
worried about Lazio than I am the Spanish teams.
No.
We beat up Real Sociedad 3-1.
As long as Lazio is firmly in the top 4, if we play them and they're firmly in the top 4, they're a better side than us at the current moment.
Whatever happens with where we're finished, the only time we can get Lazio is semi-finals. It's
Bro,
the only
but that's the worry, because by then,
final or
semi-finals.
Final or semi-finals, the only way.
Yeah,
final or
the thing
semi-final.
is, that's the one league I do watch outside of the Prem. Since you guys have known me, and it's just like it's just really easy to make money. That's why I watch it. If I'm being honest. But the thing about the Lazio team in any team in Serie A is they just care about guaranteeing their place in the Champions League for the money the next year. So if they are in there, they'll throw everything at us and just be like, cool, now let's win the trophy. If they're not, I think they'll let us, they'll just play their second team. So that's
I'm
where
not-
it's like,
Also, Cam, the thing I'm trying to figure out about our new manager, Baroni, he's like a journeyman Italian manager. He was at Hellas Verona last year, did a miraculous escape with them with peanuts.
Wait, is that the guy? Wait,
I don't know Baroni's approach like in Europe versus Serie A like fully yet, right? Like we all understand Conte. Conte is more of a lead
rotated
man.
a lot though. You do rotate quite a bit.
Yeah, but that's because we've had pretty good. We actually got a well for squad depth.
But besides the point, I'm not.
The last 3 games you rotated regardless of where you were at. Like you didn't play the same team once where you played in the league versus. So like part of the reason I actually never bet on Lazio in Europa is because I'm like, I don't know the second team. I really don't know. I don't know half of them.
Yeah,
so
but besides all of that, bro, I'm worried more about United than any other who we're playing. I don't know which United's gonna show up, so I can't say.
Terry, Jords, sorry, can you answer? Who is your potential 4 teams that you can play?
I didn't see. I only saw Man United's ones.
Let me go and have a look now.
You guys had like Galatasaray, Sociedad, Alkmaar,
AZ, and Midtjylland. I think.
Let's have a look now. I'll work it out for you because
I want to run back.
Is the only one we have to be worried about, right?
They've actually updated the website, so I can. So Spurs will play. This is what's so wow, this is crazy. So Spurs and Man United had the same draw, third and fourth, according to the website I'm looking at here. So we will all, in terms of the last 16, Spurs or United will play either Midtjylland, AZ, Galatasaray, or Sociedad.
I want Galatasaray. I need to run that back.
Which means Spurs and Man United cannot face each other
into the final.
So we couldn't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like that.
It could theoretically be an all-English final. Also, when it comes to Atletico Bilbao or Lazio, Man United couldn't get Atletico or Lazio until the semi-final or the final. So if you look at so if you think Athletic Bilbao, Lazio, Spurs are our 3 most dangerous opponents, none of them can be met until semi-finals or finals.
And
which
this
is a good
why
thing.
the seeding works.
The seeding works brilliantly. Tennis. It's like tennis to a degree. You could only get the big boys in the semi-finals and finals, or the most dangerous teams. So again, Galatasaray decent, but again, Sociedad, we beat them recently. I would fancy
who Rashford broke out again.
Yeah. I want to run that back.
Yes,
I want to run that back. Run that back. I need that. I
agree. Listen, I want to thank everyone who's tuned into the show tonight. I do. Oh, sorry. Joshua Jack here says, will anybody like Angel Gomez back? Need a 10.
I'll take him all day.
Or 8.
Kamala's
been 10 for Lille.
Yeah, he would be the Ericsson replacement, quote unquote.
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't play as a 10 though. He's a more deep line playmaker.
Right? No, he's been playing a lot deeper in Lille, but in that 10 role, he would 100% bang there, no stress.
Yeah. What do you say, Cam?
He's like 5'6" though, right? Right.
Listen. He may be 5'6", but to play in League One, one of the most.
KJ short. That's why.
Listen, Terry. If I'm short, then Terry is right behind me, bro. Because my man's like this much.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? You're short, and do you know what else you are now? You're sacked as well. So Sam here says, really want Amorim to start using academy more. We have lost haven't lost an under league 8 and under 18s league game. Yeah, look, there's a time to bring them in. There's some promising players like Kone, obviously Obi Martin in there as well. Heaven's joining soon, so I wouldn't mind to see a few of them boys play as well. But gents, listen, I want to thank you all for coming on. Congratulations to Tottenham. Well done, Lazio. Of course, big up Man United tonight for getting through to the last 8. We're back tomorrow with straight facts with Staffy and the boys. We've got the top 6 show tomorrow, and then the showdown, the final poker show is coming out. You got to watch it. It's going to be, trust me, I already know what happens. Okay. It's amazing. If you're a Football Terrace person, make sure you're there. It's great. All 7 teams we faced qualified for the next round, and we were unbeaten against them. That's also a really good point. Like we obviously had difficult games, and we are the only unbeaten side in the top 2 European leagues. We are also the worst United side ever. And you know what, bro? That's why if we win it, I will not have anyone say, but it's who to play. It's just the Europa League. There's some good teams left in this. If Man United go on to win it from here, it's a very, very good achievement, all things being considered.
Yeah.
thank you all. Thank you, boys, always for coming on. It means a lot to me. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.